So Sam, you're in camp. How's it been going?
Yeah, it's been going well. We've had a bit of a build-up now, so this is week 4. Week 1, we were kind of reviewing of our performances in WXV and our attack, and then moving into week 2 was big defence focus, and then week 3 was building it all together. Now we're into game week now, so getting the team ready for Saturday. Big focus on us and how we can perform and expose France's weaknesses.
How important has it been to you guys to have that extended period of time together?
Yeah, really important. Coming up to last year's Six Nations, we hold our hands up and say we didn't perform. But there was, all the other teams in the Six Nations not making excuses, but they had time. They had that World Cup time. That 3 months of invaluable time together and experience, game time that we didn't have. We had our Japan tour, but through the loss of experienced players and selection, it was just, we had lost a lot. So trying to regroup as a team, a week before a massive tournament like the Six Nations was really hard, and probably in that pressurised situations we weren't able to perform to the best of our ability.
None of you have shied away from the disappointment of the last Six Nations. What was that period like afterwards for you guys?
God, it was hard. It's hard anyway, coming off the back of a tournament like that, because you're in such a bubble. So even no matter what way the tournament goes, there's always that back into reality, into life again when you're not around the squad the whole time, and I felt going straight back into work, struggling with people not understanding what you've been through, especially living in England. There's a bit of that disconnect. So for me, I could get away from it, but you still hold that hurt inside you. But as a squad, we before WXV we looked at what all of our threats were, coming into this, what name it to tame it. So everything that we were carrying from that competition, we named in a group together and said, how do we move past this? How can we get forward? So that was one of the big things before WXV, that, this happened, we've acknowledged it, this is our solution to move forward, and how we can get past it and perform as a team again. So we've been working on that togetherness as a team, on and off the pitch, being more connected through how we play and how our, personal connections off the pitch as well.
What about confidence? How were you able to rebuild that?
Yeah, I think from the evidence in training. So confidence comes through evidence-based work. So having that training ID we have now where we compete against each other. So, growing the depth in our squad is massive, because, everyone's competing for a jersey. It'll make us better, as a squad, competing the whole time, and that's a massive thing in our training ID that we brought in, competing on the pitch. We're very competitive off the pitch as well. Games outside of camp, we're just a competitive squad, so bringing that in and growing the depth in our squad is massive for us and how we move forward in this Six Nations.
Well, it was brilliant to win the WXV. Just given the level of opposition, do you need to have that competition in squad then to get that challenge?
Yeah, we could only play who we were put up against, and it did build our confidence, but we're all fully aware of, this is a completely different kettle of fish, and what special competition to come into. You're playing against the best teams in the world, and that's our goal, is to be a World Cup contender, so playing against France, England, Wales, Scotland, Italy. So, coming into that, we have the last 4 weeks of confidence that we can build off, and, taking lumps out of each other. If we can do it against each other, we can up it against France.
You're now the co-captain of Ireland. What's that like for you?
A bit of a whirlwind. I didn't really expect it, but to do it alongside Tricky has just made it even that more special. We played together in Wasps a couple of seasons ago when I kind of was introduced to that, semi-professional rugby, and her, along with the other Irish players, really took me under their wing, and that's where I started to grow into this team. It's been the support we've had above and below, I wouldn't have been able to do it without. So the leadership above us and all the players we have in our squad, there's so much experience there from, you know, Lauren Delaney back in the squad, Hannah O'Connor, Annie Breen, Dorothy Wall. There's a lot of experience in this squad which helps you as a leader grow as well.
What kind of a leader are you?
I think through example, and hopefully how I play, how I hold myself. I wouldn't be one for words now. Like, you know, if I have something really in my mind and I say it, you know, I'll be direct in my communication, but hopefully through my actions and how I play and how I hold myself as a player off the pitch.
You've a new head coach as well in Scott. What changes has he made?
He's brought in this competitive element to training. You know, like us all wanting, desperate to be part of an Irish jersey, and you know how we fit into that, like what best we can do. He's worked closely with Sean Ryan, our culture and leadership man, and you know, building that culture off the pitch, which is something coming off the back of the Six Nations. You know, you're in a dark space. It's harder to, I guess, lean on each other because you're in that pressurized situation. So we kind of stripped it back from the start, and Scott was, you know, it was fresh in how we grow in pressure, basically. So you know, as I spoke about earlier, like them connections off pitch are really important in any team. So one of our goals is to be the most connected team in the world. So how we do that is through personal connections and team connections. So I think he's also made us, he's stripped it back, and he's shown us why we're playing certain ways, like how we do it. Before we were kind of told, like, right, this is what we're doing and this is our game model, where he's like, this is why we're doing this, you know. So it's an education piece and like growing the education within our squad, so that ultimately grows, you know, the competitive side of it, the leadership side of it, and in them pressurised situations being able to, you know, fire shots and make them decisions on pitch.
From a playing style perspective, what can we expect from you?
An ambitious attack, so, you know, firing shots. We want to win that collision. We want to keep on to momentum, have a good platform for our backs to play. You know, we've some very fast-paced players. We want to get the ball to them in the edges, stretch teams, you know, and find them gaps to keep on top of them and smother them. Set piece is something we've massively gone after, and our defence, Declan Danaher is in now, defence coach, and you know, the enthusiasm he's brought, like after he speaks, you just want to go out there and hit someone. So he's amazing. But the detail he's brought, not just his enthusiasm, but his detail is like really precise, clear, direct in his communication. So it's great to have him on board as well.
How do you feel heading into this game against France?
I'm really excited. We have worked so hard the last, you know, 6 months since WXV. We've worked really hard to stay connected within that period, which is something we've kind of not done as well before. Like you'd finish a tournament and then you'd just start again. You'd kind of feel you've taken a step back, whereas I feel this time we've taken a step forward. And what a better way to do it in front of hopefully 20,000 fans in France, you know, brass bands playing, whistles blowing, everything, to show the hard work we've done in the last 6 months and showcase it. 'Cause you never really know how you're going until your first test, and you can measure yourself then.
How big a boost is it to have the Sevens girls coming back in, especially as they've qualified for the Olympics and have had such a successful period?
Yeah, like over the last year or so, Irish rugby as a whole has, you know, been quite successful, and we want to add to that. The girls have a great skill set, and again, growing that leadership on and off the pitch is great to have them in, and again, it grows that competitive element to our training. So amazing to have them in. I'm buzzing to see them get out there this weekend.
And what about the new caps, the new players as well? How exciting is it to have those new players coming in?
Yeah, really exciting. It's like, I love the braveness they bring, you know, the raw energy. I'm going to go into this space and carry as hard as I can with, you know, and growing, even seeing them grow, like Katie Corrigan, you know, in the last 4 weeks, her rugby knowledge has gone from like here to here, and demanding the ball on the wing, and her pace, you know, when she gets ball in hand, like she's going to light it up. So I'm really excited to see them get their shot.
You're going to be moving around from county to county, a few different venues for this Six Nations. How do you feel about that? Do you like the fact that you're going to be connecting with different parts of the country, or would you prefer to be in the same spot?
No, I like moving it around. I know last year we were in Cork twice, and it's probably quite hard for people up north to come down and make that, it's a long trip. So being able to spread out them games is massive, especially for the younger generation, having that exposure for them to see us and being able to play on different pitches and different crowds, different venues is amazing.
I know in the recent past you were hoping that there'd be some hybrid type contracts for the girls in England. Has there been any movement on that front?
I know there's a training model coming in. I'll leave the coaches to talk a bit more about that, but yeah, like we are getting supported now through, on and off pitch as well. So it is hopefully grow to see more in the future, but it is definitely taking a step in the right direction.
And just finally, what's your goal for this Six Nations?
Collectively to qualify for the World Cup. That's what we're setting our targets on. That's what we've said from the start, and being as our best possible selves, working, if we're not winning, we're learning. So going into every game with that mindset of we're going to win this game and being able to better our performance week on week.